We're going to call this meeting of the Lenore County Board of Education to order. We will recognize Ms. Diane Lynch for the invocation.
Let us pray. May the words spoken in this room tonight be beneficial to the students, parents, staff, and administrators in our school system, and may we be led by the guiding principle to always base our decisions on the best interest of our young people. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next matter is the approval of the agenda for tonight.
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Braxton. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Stroud. Any discussion regarding the agenda? Then all in favor, raise your right hand. The agenda for tonight is approved. Next item is the board chair comments, and for tonight I don't have any comments. So we'll go to the superintendent's report.
Okay, I don't have many comments either. We do have an administrative retreat coming up on July 20th through the 22nd. We'll be focusing this year on how you lead a school with a one-to-one computer project, since hopefully we will be able to move forward once we know a little more about our budget and start that process. Other than that, I'd just like to say thank you to everyone that worked hard to make this a very successful school year for us. We are closed out. Teachers, for the most part, are gone. Although there are still many things happening this summer. We don't really ever shut down, but we have ended the chapter for last year's school, and we're working hard to get ready to open for next year. Okay? Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Dr. Mazinga. The next item is public comments, and I understand we have no one signed up for public comment tonight. So we will move along to the presentation agenda, the School System Improvement Task Force Subcommittee recommendations. Dr. Mazinga.
Okay, thank you. We did finish the work this year with the School System Improvement Task Force. We still have some open-ended questions and some work, and probably will be continuing this next year. But I'd like to let you know where we are with some of the recommendations that came out of this committee. So, outstanding work. As you know, we've already dealt with the digital part of this and the technology plan, and certainly have a good plan to move forward with that. But from the high school committee that we're dealing with, two of our goals 2 and 3, they have recommended that we incorporate career exploration in the middle school to advance our students' transition to high school. You'll see that in several places. It came out as a strong recommendation as we start moving toward fulfilling our motto of connecting our students to a prosperous future. This is something we're certainly working on, and hopefully you'll be seeing us write some grants to get some new technology in our middle schools next year and start going full guns toward exposing our students to career, as we'd like them to be able to be ready to do the next step of this, which really is to choose a career pathway, so that they know what they need to do in high school as they focus on something they consider to be a possible career for them. Not that we're asking them to make a commitment in 8th grade. That would be a lifetime commitment. Most of us are still working on what we're going to do. So it's not about that. It is about getting them to focus on something in which they have an interest, and certainly enhancing the engagement and the likelihood that they're going to go at high school hard and work towards something as a goal. If they change, that'll be just fine. We are in the process of starting to put together some of these pathways so that as an 8th grader, if you or your child says, I think I'd like to be a nurse, then the counselor will be ready to say, then here's what you need to work on. Here's what you need to do in high school. Here's what your options are for taking these kind of courses as you move into your junior and senior year of high school. Here's what you can accomplish that time. You may can get a 2-year degree if you do this. You may get half of your 4-year degree if that's the way you want to go. Same thing with engineering, same thing with a lot of other career pathways. Everyone will be taking a good solid high school curriculum, but they'll be advised on how you might want to focus those courses, and especially how you might want to be ready to move into college work or AP work, or whatever your pathway, wherever your pathway might take you. For middle school, in order to have our students ready for that career pathway and ready to accomplish maybe as much as 2 years of college while in high school, we do feel like those students need to take at least that first academic course in middle school. In order to accomplish that, we know we need a lot of work on our K-8 curriculum in particular. We've already started some of that at Continue Savannah, where we do have an expert that's been with us now for the second year that's working on how we get kids ready and what we need to do to our curriculum. A lot of that will also have to do with our one-to-one project, how we go at things differently there, but how we get them ready and prepared to take that course and how they can take that course in a way that makes a little more sense in terms of it being more about application. If you visited the STEM lab at Continue Savannah, you kind of understand how that's very, very different. There is a recommendation to continue to take a look at grade configurations. We're continuing to look at that research, and I know that this has some controversial aspect to it. There's still some good solid research and still some more work I think we need to do in terms of looking at that and seeing if it happens to be right for some of our schools or all of our schools, and something to do with grade configuration. That one's not nearly settled, certainly not ready for a vote, and we have a lot more work to do as we move down the road on that one. Read by second grade. First recommendation we already have on the plate, hopefully, is integrate the one-to-one technology initiative. We have seen amazing things happening with K-2 children, particularly in the area of literacy and reading, with iPads and some of the work they can do and how that can really advance what they're able to accomplish while they're in primary grades. Also form a parent outreach committee for literacy to design a plan to deliver parent workshops. We think parents are, we discovered, I think this committee really discovered as they were working on this, that parents sometimes are not informed concerning what is out there for their students and what options they have to prepare their children and how they need to work with their children. And there are many, many resources across the district. So this is really about helping parents both know what to do and understand what options are out there and what they may need to do to prepare their students and have them ready by second grade to be good readers and ready to move on. Kindergarten readiness. A recommendation here is to implement a Jump Start program in the summer. We were busy setting up our Read to Achieve this summer. We have not had time to work on that and try to flesh that out. That will be some of the work we'll be taking on as administration next year. Hope to come back to you with some ideas. It certainly would help our students to get a head start in the summer for kindergarten if they're not ready to start kindergarten when we get our first look at them when they come in to register. Hopefully we can put something together for the summer, next summer, and we can help our kindergartners prepare for their a more successful experience in kindergarten. The other recommendation is to establish a transition kindergarten for those students that come to us that are seriously behind. Sometimes that might be a 2-year kindergarten program. For some students it might be they're in that program for part of the year and then they move into a regular kindergarten program. But something that would acknowledge that they're coming in without being prepared to start kindergarten and they need some extra work, whatever that might be. A lot of work to be done by administration and teachers and people that would work together to put together that idea, but it certainly is admitting that we have children that come to us not ready and putting together a plan of how we deal with them once they get to us. Okay. The last recommendation for that is to form a task force that includes community service providers and parent stakeholders who would assess existing community resources and again better inform our public of what is out there and why they need to take advantage of this and how to take advantage of that as parents. The School Choice Committee came forth with several recommendations. The first one is to develop career pathways in high school. Notice how some of these overlap. That is something that we're already working on. We originally started with the idea of having academies that may be at one place in the community, at one high school only. It really is coming down to more focusing on how we can individualize a student's path as they move through high school. And as I've just returned from a couple of meetings. I heard it discussed at both places where a lot of school systems now are really focusing in on a particular child and what they need to do and the pathway for them. So it's kind of a personalized education plan, a personalized education service. And that may not include having academies, although as we flesh this out, we may see a need to put together a special school to deal with a special topic. Pretty much as we do IB at Kinston, there may be some other ideas out there that we need to explore. Again, implement career exploration in middle school, one that we've seen before, and additional pre-K classes. So kind of, as we worked on these as committees, some of these committees came around to a lot of the same ideas in terms of how we develop some of this. In our survey, we were a little bit taken back by the number of concerns we had from both parents of students in the school district and parents that had chosen not to send their students to the school district concerning safety. We're not sure what that was, what they were trying to tell us, but we do think it's something that we need to delve into in depth. And so this is basically a recommendation to put together a group that would study the safety perceptions of our parents and community, and to deal with them, whether they're real or whether they're just perceptions of what might be there. But there is a need to take a look at that based on on the reaction from those that filled out the survey. Of course, technology, we know we've got our fingers crossed. We're hoping to launch off into our one-to-one initiative over the next 3 years, with K-5 being the first one to take advantage of that next year with the iPads for all of our K-5 students. All right, more work to be done. Administration will do a lot of work on these and hopefully come back with some more specific recommendations for you at future meetings. Okay, Mr. Chairman, thank you very much.
Is there any questions for Dr. Mozingo on the task force recommendations at this point?
Okay.
That'll do. Next item is the financial report. Ms. Davis.
Good evening. The financial report reflects year-to-date activity by providing revenue and expenditure information as to all the sources of funds received and expended by fund and purpose as of June 26, 2014. Please note that the fund balance is before any year-end adjustments are processed. May I answer any questions?
You expect the fund balance to change much?
I feel like it's going to stay around 3.8. We were writing checks up to after lunch today.
Right.
But I know we'll have more coming in Monday.
So I take it the year-to-date activity that we're seeing reflected here is going to change in the next 4 days?
Sure, yes. Anything that comes in Monday will have to be posted in this fiscal year.
Okay. Any other questions about the financial report? And we can continue with the first action item, which is the interim budget resolution for 2014-2015. Ms. Davis.
Okay. This interim budget is prepared to continue fiscal operations for 2014-15 school year until an approved budget resolution is passed. The interim budget was based on 1/4 of the 2013-14 budget resolution amendment number 3, which was dated May 5th, 2014. May I answer any questions? And this is just so we can keep on operating next week.
I move we approve the interim budget resolution.
Second. Motion made by Mr. Philpelli, second by Mr. Hill. Is there any further discussion on the interim budget resolution?
Are we thinking that this may be close now? Has anybody had any additional information?
As far as the conferees are still working, I have no idea where they are. I haven't heard anything from that. I don't know if anyone else has.
Thought maybe Jonathan's group might.
I'm not sure. Right now, they're behind closed doors, so
Okay.
we'll wait and see and keep our fingers crossed.
Motion's made and been seconded. Any further discussion? And all in favor of approval of the interim budget resolution as presented, raise your right hand. The resolution is approved. Next matter is the budget amendment. Ms. Davis, are we going to amend what we just approved?
No, that's for next year.
Okay.
This is finishing up this year. This budget amendment increases the state budget due to additional funds that were received for PRC 003 non-instructional support for substitute reimbursement, PRC 015 technology for interest, and PRC 056 transportation for stop armor cameras. The federal budget is increased due to additional funds received for PRC 058, the Career and Technical Ed, PRC 118, 6B, Special Targeted Assistance, and PRC 158, Race to the Top recruitment incentives. It also adjusts all other federal budgets due to the actual allotments, including carryover. That's just to get them to where they actually were supposed to be. The capital outlay budget is increased due to the year-end entry required to post the school bus replacements. The scholarship funds are increased due to funds received for the Broom Hill and Fisher scholarships at Kinston High School. The other local fund increases were due to additional funds received for PRC 862, the E-rate reimbursement, PRC 654, Migrant Ed, PRC 814, the South Lenore High School Ag Grant, PRC 860, the PEG channel reimbursement, and PRC 931, the Autism Fund, and PRC 930, Medicaid reimbursements. It also adjusts PRC 401, the Smart Start, 413, North Carolina Pre-K, and PRC 445, 3 school budgets to the actual allotments, which included carryover. May I answer any questions?
Were all these expected?
Yes. And mainly on the federals, you know, we have planning allowance to begin with that we have to budget, and then we have to come back and make the actual adjustments to what they actually are, including the carryover from the previous year.
Move to accept budget amendment number 4.
Motion made by Mr. Smith,
Second.
second by Mr. Nobles. Any further discussion about budget amendment number 4? And all in favor, raise your right hand. Budget amendment passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Davis. Next item is the child nutrition procurement. Ms. Pam Smith.
Good evening.
Good evening.
As you know, each school year I come to you with prices that are procured for the food and supplies according to guidelines, and recommend the prices that we have that are best for the program and for the school district. You have before you the prices that are for rollover this year. Most everything that we have, we're allowed to roll over at least one more year, which is a good thing. This year we have allowable rollovers for our food distributor, which is Cisco, and you see the prices that we have per cases. The produce, which is R&H Produce Company, we have the same case price that we had last year. Mayola for our milk company, and our uniforms, which is Clouds Clothing. All of those are the same prices that we've had from the prior school year. So my recommendation is to roll over those same companies with the same prices that we had the prior school year. The other company that we had, we did get quotes on for chemicals, which was North Carolina Correction Enterprise for chemicals. And those really were the same prices that we had the prior year or two, but they were the only company that responded to us. So we were still okay with those prices too. So we were okay with that, but it was the only company that we did have a response from, so we didn't have much of a choice. So my recommendations are before you, these companies that we have, the vendors that you see.
Are we still part of a purchasing group with this?
We are.
How many counties?
The Alliance is a group of I think we're up to about 80 counties now, but the local group that we have is 5 counties. Next school year, we will have to bid these out again. So the prices may change next year, but this year we were able to roll over one more year and keep these prices in place for one more year. So that is our recommendation, to keep these prices one more year and try to hold on to them as long as we can.
Motion to approve the food and supply vendors is presented.
Motion made by Mr. Hill, second by Mr. Nobles. Is there any further discussion about the child nutrition procurement? And all in favor, raise your right hand. The procurements are approved. Thank you, Ms. Smith. Next item is out-of-state school trip requests. Ms. Lynch.
We do have one from South Lenore. We have 2 students who will be competing in Nashville, Tennessee on a national level on website designing.
We have a motion to approve the out-of-school trip request.
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Stroud. We have a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Smith. All in favor of approving the out-of-school trip request, raise your right hand. It is approved. Next item would be to entertain a motion to go into closed session.
I move that Lenore County Board of Education go into closed session under North Carolina General Statute 143-31811 to prevent disclosure of confidential personnel files, to consult with the board's attorney in order to preserve the attorney-client privilege and consider matters relating to initial employment of an individual employee.
Motion made by Mr. Hill. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Stroud. All in favor of going into closed session, raise your right hand. We are now in closed session. We are back in open session. Next item is the personnel report.
I move that we accept the personnel report and the addendum as amended in closed session.
Motion's been made by Mr. Hill. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Smith. All in favor, raise your right hand. The personnel report as amended in closed session is approved. Next matter, I'm sorry, I recognize Dr. Mazingo for an announcement.
Thank you. I'd like to introduce our newest administrators. Ms. Rhonda Green, if you'll stand up. She is our new principal at Northwest Elementary. Our new assistant principal at Whittington's, Ms. Jan Tucker, if you'll stand up. Congratulations. Our new assistant principal at Frank's, Ms. Heather Gray, if you'll stand up, please. Thank you. And our newest administrator at Rochelle as assistant principal is Mr. Derek Wiggs, and he is not here tonight, but we'll congratulate him anyway. So he'll be joining your team. All right. Thank you.
Next matter is adjournment. We have a
Motion to adjourn.
Motion made by Mr. Hill.
Second.
Second by Mr. Nobles. All in favor of adjourning the meeting, raise your right hand.